I just want to mention ahead of this that I'm not complaining. I just do have some feedback on ways that the ship can improve, but I would happily sail on this ship again tomorrow if I had the opportunity. Now, moving on to the things that I didn't so much love. I don't want to say hated. I didn't hate anything about this cruise. These aren't in any particular order, but I will start with our cabin with that bathroom. It is incredibly tiny. The toilet, it seems like, has gotten smaller. If you're a large person, you may need to open the bathroom door to open the shower door so that you can get out of the way of the swing of that shower door. We were both able to get into the shower, but if we were any larger than we are, it would have been a problem. I wouldn't get dressed in that bathroom. I would use that restroom just for what you need and get out and then continue getting dressed in the main area of the cabin. Something that I found odd, I won't say I hated it, but I do think this is a brand new ship, and if you are going to put modern fixtures in one public restroom, they should be put in all of the public restrooms. And there was a strange variation between different locations where, for example, the first night we came out of the main dining room and that restroom had really modern faucets that I have never seen on a ship before, where 4 ladies were in line trying to wash our hands, and all 4 of us could not figure out where the soap was. We stood there. I mean, now that I know where the soap is, I feel like an idiot, but I'm just telling you that the 4 of us could not figure it out. And I hate to think how many people didn't use soap washing their hands. But anyway, the soap is within the faucet. So you have to go like this on the side of the faucet so that it will dispense soap, but it does the sensor for water too. And then there is another faucet that has a blow dryer in it, which is fine. I mean, actually, I like the design once you understand it. But then you would go to another public restroom and it was a manual faucet. Like, you had to turn it on and off like this. And then there would be a bottle of soap on the side where you stand there and pump it. And then one of those old school pull paper towel dispensers. So that's a really huge variance in modernization, and I don't understand. This was all built at once. Why did they not put those faucets everywhere? I also don't think it's very sanitary to have people pulling up and down on faucets and having to touch things like the soap pump that everybody else is touching. So I hope that they will make that consistent throughout the ship. Another thing that I really did not enjoy on this ship, and at this point I will say I have not seen a show in the Dome because the entertainment scheduling has been not very well executed. We have had patters in print on paper that have different schedules than the patter in our app. We have had the app go down for the whole first night. The app was not working. And so we didn't know there was a show in the Dome. And then that show played only on the first 2 nights. So we didn't see it at all. Then on another evening, there was a show happening in the Dome that was not on the patter. We found out through the Facebook group for this cruise that the show was happening, and people said, come up here, the show is happening and the Dome is only half full. Well, we were already at another show that we had our plans for. So anyway, there is a show tonight at 8:15, and after we finish this conversation, we are going to be running to try and be at the Dome over an hour early so that we can claim a seat in there, because our understanding is that if you don't show up at least an hour early, you're out of luck to get a chair. We have experienced that at Princess Live in the Piazza, where they are holding a lot of the shows, and rather than having any break in between one show and the next, they seem to roll into the next performance. So for example, we have like a trivia happening in the atrium last night, or in the Piazza, and then they bring out a little aerialist for a 15-minute segment, so that it's almost like they don't want you to leave and go to the next venue. Most people don't want to be in the same venue for 6 hours of their evening straight. We actually want to pop from Princess Live to the atrium, to the Dome, and then to the Princess Theater and see all the shows that are happening in those different venues. But unless you are basically planted in one spot, you are not able to find a seat in any one of these locations. The one exception to that, I will say, is the Princess Arena. Every night that we've gone there, we have been able to find seating. Another comment on the entertainment. My understanding and expectation from all of my cruise history is that the largest and newest ships in a fleet generally have the biggest and best performances, from the quality of the performers to the production quality. And the one show that we were able to see in the Princess Arena so far that wasn't a guest performer, Viva La Music, it was not on the level I would expect from Princess on any ship, and certainly is not what I would expect them to put on their biggest and best and newest ship. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I do think that they retired a performance that was going on prior to arriving in America, so maybe this is something that they'll be improving on, but I was not impressed by that show. Two more points of things that I did not like on the ship. Coffee is practically impossible to get made right. We ordered lattes once to be delivered to our cabin, and we received straight shots of espresso. At main dining, we would order coffee and ask for coffee and cream and sweetener, and they would bring out coffee, maybe cream, but definitely not sugar or sweetener. We would have to always ask for Splenda. It's almost like Splenda is powdered gold. I feel like it is some kind of thing that they keep a strong hold on for some reason, like it's super valuable. John would go to the Cafe Currents and try to get flat white is what he ended up ordering most of the time. But they have a self-service sweetener station, and they would never replenish it when the Splenda was gone. So I don't know if this is a transition from the European cruising style to Americans where they just drink espresso maybe straight, but I've never had difficulty like this getting coffee made to order properly and obtaining Splenda. The last thing I will say, this may be a design thing. It may be that they just need to figure out better locations for photo ops, but it's difficult to navigate the ship from forward to aft if you want to go from one end to the other, and it becomes exponentially more difficult on formal evenings where they have set up photo ops within the main transport points, like in the stairwells and in the locations that are already bottlenecks. Last night, formal night, we were coming out of O'Malley's to go to the show in the Piazza. Why was one of two entrances to O'Malley's literally blocked by a backdrop and a photographer for 5 hours straight? That venue, both venues on either side of that photo op were completely packed, and you could not get through the door because you would be interfering with some photo ops. On the other side of the Piazza, where they have a stairwell going up a deck, they had a photographer taking stairwell photos. So people would be coming down from the Princess shops or coming out of the Piazza and then standing there in line. So you had the line of 100 people wanting their photo taken. Then you had a line of people coming from this side trying to pass through the photo station, and a line of people trying to come through into the Piazza. It was just totally unnecessary. They should be creating a pathway at minimum to allow people to pass through. I do think they can fix that. I'm not sure why that is happening, but it has happened on both of the formal nights. And even without the photogs, it's difficult to get from one end of the ship to the other. Those are my thoughts on the Sun Princess. And I would be interested to see how things change in the future with them trying to optimize the performance and the way that things run. But anyway, we have to go because we need to try and get to the dome right now so that we can see at least one performance in there for our cruise. Okay, the show is over. There is another show starting in the Princess Theater directly below where we were, but they won't let you use the elevators outside of the dome, so we have to walk mid-shift to go down and then walk forward because they're reserving the elevator bay for the line for the next show. We're literally walking single file from the dome to the elevators. I've got to say, the command of your time to spend 2 hours for any show that's 30 or 45 minutes, I don't like that.